What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So we have another state that is, they just finished their budget and they will be sending out stimulus checks, or they're calling them rebates. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And then I also want to talk about grocery tax. Okay. So some states actually tax groceries. Not all states do this. I live in California. We don't tax groceries in California. I think that's the right way to go when it comes down to it. But we're going to talk about some of the states who do have this grocery tax and why this doesn't make sense, why they should get rid of the grocery tax altogether. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first off, on this channel, we talk about retirement, we talk about Social Security, we talk about personal finance. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please subscribe to the channel and hit that little bell notification. That way you get notified anytime we put out a video. And like always, if you see my name and a picture of me in the comment section, make sure you see a check mark next to my name. That check mark signifies that it's me. If you do not see that check mark, it's not me. It's someone trying to impersonate me. Okay, so let's go ahead and get right to it. Now, the state that's going to be sending out stimulus checks is Oklahoma. Okay, so Oklahoma, they just finished their budget and they proposed a $9.8 billion Oklahoma state budget includes direct $75 rebates. Okay, $75 per taxpayer. So if it's a couple, it's going to be $150. Not a lot of money, I understand. Now, these are rebates. This is not stimulus stemming from COVID-19. This is basically money left over, surplus money, and now they're trying to figure out what they want to do with it. So what Oklahoma is trying to do, and every state does the same thing, July 1st is the beginning of the fiscal year, and so they're trying to see their budget, and they're putting together how much money they have to spend on the different things in the state. Okay, so just looking at this, is $75, so you already kind of see where they're going with this. Now, the important thing about this is that, and I don't think they go into the details of exactly who qualifies. It doesn't really give us that much information when it comes to that. We just know it's a $75 or $150, but they're not going into the details of what you need to qualify. What are we looking at here? Is it $75,000 or less? All that. So we don't have that information. I would imagine the threshold is probably a lot larger, so it's more than just 75,000 or less. Like I'm talking like the federal government, that kind of stimulus checks and stuff that went out. But I would think because this is a rebate, they're going to give it to more people. Okay, now this is to help with inflation. That's the whole reason that they're offering this. Now, a lot of states, they have extra money. And they have extra money because of COVID, because of the stimulus packages that have been going through. That's why they have extra money. And so each state should be offering some type of a rebate. I just think it's the right thing to do. Okay, so I want to show you this quick clip, and this is coming from Oklahoma, and they're going to be talking about the grocery tax. Okay, now this is something that I think it's pretty sad that we have states that are still doing this. They're still collecting money. And I'm going to explain to you why I think this is the wrong way to go about it when it comes to collecting taxes. Collecting taxes on groceries is something that I've always been against. And let's go ahead and play this clip first, and then we'll talk a little bit about it. Here we go.
Oklahoma House Democrats are calling for grocery tax relief after the proposal failed to make it into that budget. Bills to roll back that tax passed both chambers easily with bipartisan support, but a little short of a budget veto from the governor could get the tax cut back on the table.
Fox 25's Tom Ferguson has your back tonight, asking why it didn't make the cut this time around. So, Tom, what are you hearing?
Dan, from the Republican side, I'm hearing there just wasn't enough money to go around this time for these tax cuts, but Democrats are taking issue with that.
We had an opportunity by eliminating the state's portion of the sales tax to help a little bit with the pain, but we chose to not do that.
The House sending over a budget to the governor on Friday. Grocery tax cuts not included.
The governor certainly could do some things with the veto pen that might allow us to come back and do a grocery sales tax exemption. I suspect that won't happen.
The bills that rolled back the taxes were rewritten to give the legislature greater control over COVID relief dollars on Wednesday.
I had the bill this year that would get rid of the grocery tax. However, when you take a look at the whole budget, we don't know that we'd be able to sustain that for a long period of time.
Democrats saying if the state can set aside $700 million to lure a major manufacturer to the state, it could have passed grocery tax relief. But Republicans are pushing back.
And when you look at Project Ocean and the amount of tax revenue it's going to bring to the state, it's things like that that might actually allow us to get rid of a grocery tax at some point in time.
While grocery tax relief bills passed both chambers, Representative Andy Fugate is telling me the Senate ended up standing in the way.
It takes both chambers in this legislature to do something like eliminating the sales tax on groceries. And unfortunately, one of the two bodies was not interested in doing that. And it wasn't the House.
His House colleague Kevin McDougal highlighting relief efforts that are included in the budget.
And I know it's tough, especially with the economy the way it is on a national scale right now, with inflation the way that it is. They are going to get some relief, even though it's minor. I was wanting a little bit larger number.
Single Oklahomans can expect $75 payouts in December, while couples are set to get $150.
Okay, so you saw there they were talking about the grocery tax. At the very end, they were talking about that stimulus, that rebate that will be going out to residents of Oklahoma, and that's going to be $75 and $150 for couples. Okay, let's take a look. I just want to show you the 13 states that have a sales tax on groceries right now: Alabama, Arkansas, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Kansas, Mississippi, Missouri, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Utah, and Virginia. Okay, now, when it comes to a grocery tax, I really am against this because people need food to survive. They need to go to the grocery store and buy food to survive. And taxing that, I think, is just the wrong way to go. And it's you look at Oklahoma. Oklahoma, they're giving them $75 per tax filer, okay? So let's just look at that. $75, you get that extra $75. That's to help with inflation. That's what this rebate is for. Now, you go to the grocery store and you use that $75, you're getting taxed on that. So the state government's actually getting money back because the taxes are going to the state government, okay? So the state government's getting some of that $75 back because you're going to be paying taxes on that $75. Now, the way that I look at it when it comes to going to the grocery store and buying groceries, I know myself, I spend about, I would say at least $100. I'd say about $100 every 2 weeks. That's what I spend. Now, it's just me. I'm not, it depends on where I shop too. But if I go to Costco, I'm spending $100 easy just going to Costco, and that's one trip. But if I really try to budget my money and I go to the grocery store maybe 2-3 times per week, I might spend about $100, maybe even $150 in 2 weeks. But if you have a family, you're spending a lot more than that. And I think you can easily argue that you're spending at least $1,000 in 6 months. I think you can easily make that argument that the average family will spend that much. So if we're looking at this and we're looking at Oklahoma and their tax on groceries right now is 4.5%. So let's say you spend $1,000 in 6 months. So in a year, you're spending $2,000. Now, I'm being very, very conservative with these numbers. I know people probably spend a lot more than that. But being conservative with those numbers, in a year, you spend $2,000 on groceries alone. You're getting taxed on that. If you're getting taxed on that 4.5%, you're looking at $90. $90 is what you're giving back to the state government. And that $90 could go for groceries. That's what I don't understand. So you can go to the grocery store, spend $90, and if you really budget right, you can get a lot for $90 at the grocery store. And so that is why I'm against taxing groceries. I think it's just, this is a necessity. People need this to survive. And so why would you tax that? And so you have states like California. Like I said, I live in California. We don't tax groceries. And so it's pretty interesting because there are a lot of things that in California they tax. But there are certain things when it comes to necessities, they're not taxing it the same way. We know with gas, there are these different taxes and stuff on gas in California. That's why we're at $6. And some of the other states are around $4.50, $5, or even less than $4.50. So when it comes down to it, the whole grocery tax, I think, is the wrong way to go. I think all states need to get rid of that. Oklahoma, they were trying to do that, and you saw the different politicians kind of talking about the reasons why they're for getting rid of the gas tax, and why they tried to get rid of the gas tax, but they didn't have enough money, and all this stuff that they're throwing out. But the reality is the states are making money on people because the people are going to the grocery store, buying necessities, and paying taxes on those necessities. So I want to know what you guys think about this. If you live in any of these states, let me know how it is as far as the taxes. I know they vary. It's not necessarily, some taxes are very, very low, but still, nonetheless, you're paying a little bit extra when the reality is you shouldn't be when it comes to groceries. Now, if you go, let's say you go to Target or you go to Walmart and you're buying a TV and buying stuff like that, I understand that. Those are not necessities. But food is a necessity and it shouldn't be taxed. That's just the way that I feel about it. But let me know your thoughts down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.